Got Alex here from RIGS.
Yeah, from Guerrilla Cambridge, working on RIGS. I'm the associate art director.
So we sort of thought we'd do a small collaboration here by actually sculpting one of the mechs from RIGS.
Yeah, so I've got a picture here on my phone, handily. It's anger management. He's one of the knockout rigs.
So I'm gonna be the official phone holder for Maya.
Thanks.
So I'll just kind of hang that up there, and she's gonna. So this is our biped creation tool. I don't know if you guys how familiar you are with our game, but
I saw the last demo with the bear walking around, but I haven't seen the creation
yeah.
tools yet.
So all of the characters in our game, all the humanoid characters, are made with this tool, which you start out by doing proportions. Okay. So it's very easy. It's not like there's no handles or anything to grab and stretch. It's just you just grab bits and you pose them however you want, and then you can kind of fatten them and thin them out. And it actually, interestingly enough, it supports the kind of goat feet style.
Okay.
Which is like where you have really long toes, essentially.
Yeah, because the rigs in the game will have these like athletic blades, so they're meant to be quite stripped back, highly tuned machines. So yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, so the shoulders are.
Yeah, they're like.
Oh, the shoulders are going to be tricky because the shoulders have more joints than our rig.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well,
that's cool.
Get creative. We can do it.
You know what we can do?
We can take the hand.
No. Like, what if you imagine there's the sculpt goes all the way around the shoulder, and then you just make the cut into it.
I see.
That would work.
So, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So one of the creative things we do is we work around this, like, because the humanoid is, it's a shape, but obviously you have more joints than a human does in a way, or the shoulders are a bit out. But our artists have figured out really clever ways of working around that by like stretching pieces, and so we'll see what we can fashion. But a lot of the times you make certain pieces bigger and then you cut them, and you can sort of work through it.
Wow, that's crazy. So how you're using the two?
So Maya's using the move controllers. We support moves and DS4 controllers, so you can use both devices. You can use the camera, no camera. We want to use it in VR as well, so like the whole thing could just be, you could just do this in VR, so you could really see it. And we have really basic operations. The whole thing has add and cut.
Okay.
That's the only operations, and it's all voxel based. So, nice one.
Nice
you know what? The head can be a pilot. Because inside there's like a pilot.
Yeah, the pilots are at the.
So that's we don't.
So I make the head into the pilot.
Maybe later on.
Yeah.
This could be a last.
Yeah, I can put. That's true. This guy.
So
I'll do this.
That's in the game. The pilots, you take on the role of the pilot. So in the design of the rigs, we've left the pilot quite exposed at the front. So it's important in the match, and you're racing around. You can see the opposition pilots. Piloting their rigs.
It's supposed to be a sports thing, isn't it? It's not
exactly.
Like
so it's PlayStation VR. So it's about you, the player, becoming the sports pilot and piloting your rig in the Mechanized Combat League. So it's important that you can see the players and you can recognise them. So rather than being, it's not a robot without the pilot. The rig does nothing. It's like a sports car.
It's true. You just have to rely on decoration and stuff,
Yeah.
Which you have both of, obviously. But it's cool to see that it's a real human, because it gives you that sense from VR of like, oh, that's actually a real person piloting that.
Well, it gives it a lot of scale as well. And as you're running around the environment, because they're futuristic arenas, we've actually been able to embed the crowd viewing galleries in the actual play structures themselves. So as you're running around, you get other bits of human scale as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So rather than them just being on the periphery and the grandstand, as you're running over ramps or through tunnels, you'll be able to see the viewing galleries inside.
Oh, interesting. Wow, that's really... So you're really taking the sports thing to the kind of full extreme. It's really interesting to see how well the world was thought out. It's not just like a veneer, it's like, what would a world be like if this was part of,
Yeah, well, also, like, we wanted to create a world that people wanted to be immersed in. So it's 50 years in the future, but it's a kind of nice version of the future. It's bright and it's colourful, it's clean.
Right. It's not post-apocalyptic robot fights.
Exactly, there's no zombies. So
there's no killing for once. You just eject out.
Yeah, people eject out when they we call it getting taken down, and then they eject out, and then they respawn in a replacement rig.
Yeah, it's I think it's interesting, like how you create believability inside VR, and these kind of small details you're talking about really, I think, help sell people on actually being in the space. Because the difference between it just being, a blank white box level. I mean, you still get like the presence of feeling and everything, but once the little small things start coming into people, the audiences, you're like, oh wow, I really do feel like I'm...
Yeah, absolutely. And the 3D audio also helps to really locate you in the space. And as you're running past the crowd, you really get the sense of where you are. And we've done quite a lot of stuff with looking down and seeing your pilot's hands. And as you lean, your pilot mimics your movements and leans with you. So there's a real strong connection between you, the player, and the pilot. And also, it's a bit of a power fantasy, really. You want the player to feel important. They have a whole team of mechanics around them, so they can look around. There's all people interacting with you. So rather than just you being a person in isolation, there's a whole team of people around you supporting you. So it kind of really fleshes out the world and your role within that world.
Yeah.
It's about celebrating the player, I guess, and making them feel like a sports star.
Yeah, it's really cool because some of the mundane, so to speak, experiences like being in a pit stop or whatever must actually feel really cool in VR.
Yeah,
right?
we have when you first start the game and you're in the pits, you can look around and you can see people working on rigs in the background. You can see the pit crew around you going and checking things, and just looking up at the rig when it's like 8 meters tall, 6 meters tall, it's just great. And the fact that you can lean around it, you're not just seeing the rig
so
flat
you get
on.
the parallax and everything.
Yeah, and when you get loaded into the rigs and you can look down and see your hands. And you can look and see the huge weapons that are on each side. And we've had to go to quite a lot of attention because people can have such freedom in VR to look at things in whatever angle they want. We've had to spend a lot of time making sure all the mechanics of the rigs are sound, so you can scrutinise every joint and...
it's hard.
Yeah, you have to make sure everything's really, really tangible and works.
I think it's funny. Right?
It's amazing legs.
It's gonna be...
It's funny, I think people, as developers, we kind of remember that a lot of it is smoke and mirrors, right? There's no back faces to any of the levels ever in any games you've ever played. Like, you're walking through this alleyway, but behind that door there is not a house. There's just flatness and nothing there. Yeah. But in VR, all of a sudden, you have to model everything. Like, you can't stop modeling.
Well, people are amazed as well when we're taking people through the briefing here at PSX. And we're saying, when you're in the pits level, look behind you. Look behind you.
There's
and people
stuff.
are like astonished that there's stuff there. Like, it's the whole 3D space. So that's is remarkable. It takes a bit of getting used to, really.
Yeah, I think as a developer, when we're talking to people about making stuff in VR, it's like they're surprised at how much more effort those kind of games take, just from a content perspective, even though it doesn't seem so.
Well, I think it's like with the mechanics of the rig, everything's got to be considered. There's such a amount of freedom for the player to look where they want and turn around and see everything, and that you have to, I think, put more effort in to make sure that the illusion of reality is maintained. And it's the same way with the motion of the pilot. You have to make sure that if the player's moving around and in their seated position in the real world, that's reflected on the pilot. So you have that that's maintained.
Yeah. So the tools that sort of Maya's using right now, she's got paint tools that allow you to just paint on the 3D
it's
space.
like painting in volumes.
Yeah, it's painting with volumes. Sorry,
it's okay.
I lost the tappiness of the phone. One moment.
Tappiness.
That's already looking pretty good.
Cool. It doesn't look exactly like it, but
no, it's the Dreams iteration. It's gonna be. Which part do you want me to? Do you want me to zoom in on something?
Maybe.
The hands.
This is the anger management.
Anger management.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll be able to do the
he's got
text, but
issues.
maybe just the color.
Yeah.
But the lower legs are quite interesting because they're like the Paralympic running blades.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was interesting because that's inspired obviously by that, because I've heard stories of those people being kind of banned from the actual races because they're too fast.
Yeah.
Like it starts out as the Paralympics, but then all of a sudden like, oh wait a minute, we're better. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's actually the cyborg racing or the cyborg running crew.
With the visual design of the rigs, it was important for us that we distinguish them from war mechs. So this is like a vehicle built for spectator sport. So it's meant to be fast and aerodynamic and sleek.
Yep.
And then obviously you have the sporting livery, so it can be picked out from a grandstand. So just from the wow. So just from the core principle of what it is it's a vehicle built for a spectator sport. And so therefore it's not a lumbering machine. It's meant to be quite fast. Hence the blades were a really good fit.
Yeah,
just makes it look really fast and agile.
Yeah, Dave over there actually. The Twitch people can't see unfortunately, but Dave wrote the character animation system.
Okay.
And one of the first sort of hacks that the artist found is because we have a 2-piece foot, which is quite rare in game development. Actually, you usually just have like a stump on the bottom or whatever. But I did the toes for the character creator because the artists kept asking for it. And then the artist started to use the toes creatively, so they would stretch the toes out and make like goats and
awesome
animals or whatever. And so Dave actually went through the process of figuring out what a creature with long toes or long ankles actually should stand like.
Right.
So it should work that the blades should just work.
This is this is all expanded.
This is our color picker.
Okay.
This lets you select colors and so she's just painting the arm segments, and it grays out all the pieces that you're not working on.
So you can mask out certain bits.
Yeah, it just masks them out, so that way you're not just painting over everything by accident. But that's why everything is dark when you pull back out.
You'll also be able to make metal, which would be kind of handy in this one.
Yeah. Can we do metal on the?
I don't think on the biped.
Try it. Oh no, probably doesn't. No, I can't do it. Yeah, we actually have metal in the game, but maybe, we don't have we can't unfortunately do it on the characters quite yet. But yeah, there's like a metallic shader that would have been nice. But yeah, hopefully the goat legs just work out. It was interesting, when I was doing the biped skeleton, I was looking at like anatomy sketches and stuff, and then you look at all the mammals, and like everybody basically has the same rig, so to speak.
Exactly.
It's like even a bird, like the bird's wings are just your fingers.
Yeah.
So the first one, we have a version where you can actually have full hands, 15-piece hands or whatever. And the artists loved those because then they could just stretch all the bits out and they would make birds. And then, so the high bar we're hoping for is that right now it's very much, humanoid focused, but ultimately it's just proportions. Like a bird is just a really weirdly proportioned human. That's the mentality. But obviously the animation system needs to notice that.
So for the animation system, do you start off with like a basic template? So here's the biped. Do you have quadrupeds and stuff as well?
We don't have any quadrupeds at the moment. But the idea is that as soon as you lean the character over, you'll just go quadrupedal somehow. So this star. So there's just a unified animation system for all things. It's procedural animation because we want people to be able to puppeteer it.
Okay.
We're less focused on the traditional animation and like keyframing and stuff, and we're more focused on actually performing. So you perform the character yourself.
It's interesting. We had one game I worked on in the past was Medieval on the PSP, and we had actually a puppeteer system. Just when we were creating cutscenes, we'd actually puppeteer the mouth with the mouse.
Oh yeah.
So we had you had the jaw flap, and then you had the E and the U, and you'd go through. And actually, it was really a really efficient, but also fun way of working. So you'd actually have to act and puppeteer to the audio track.
Yeah.
And it was just great, and that's how we did all the lip sync and stuff for those cutscenes.
That's cool. So it's actually been used in. I mean, it's a bit like motion capture. It's kind of like poor man's motion capture in a way. But in a way, it gives you more control.
And it also gives you quite a lot of style as well. There's a certain amount of charm that comes with that.
So I think that's our goal, is that we want to maintain. We basically want to make sure that the person's style comes across, so that when I look at this rig built, it looks like Maya's work, and when I try to do it, it would look like my work, which just means much worse. Or John Beach, who really does a lot of mechs, could probably Have you seen this? This is one of our 3D prints. So this is a mech that John Beach made in the game.
Wow.
And then 3D printed.
That's pretty cool.
That's actually it's playable in the game. It's made based on the biped.
And you can save out assets out of Dreams to 3D print.
Yeah, so you could save them out to be 3D printed or just exported through OBJ or whatever format to traditional pipeline. So, like maybe in the future we could export some assets for prototyping. For like the thing that excites me most is VR prototyping, because I think be curious to kind of hear your thoughts on how your studio works. But when I was doing VR demos, I found it quite frustrating to kind of work in Maya or even coding or whatever, and then having to take the headset on and off all the time.
Sure.
So I'd really wanted, and when I was in the world, I would literally just want to do, I'd see the tree and I'm like, why can't I just grab the tree and just move it? I mean, I already have move controllers or a DS4 in my hand. I've already got tracking. I should just be able to take that building, make it bigger, take this thing, move it, without having to kind of.
Yeah, well, I know what you mean. So one thing that we do when we're iterating on things in game is we'll create a number of different options, and then we'll set up so we can boot through to the game, and then we'll toggle through them all.
Oh yeah.
So actually, because you're right, it's absolutely essential when we're designing things like HUD. We need to be able to see distances, how far it's away from the player, and actually to be able to review those things in VR and cycle through a number of options. So,
because you can't feel it on the screen, right? Like
no.
So you have to try it out in VR.
Well, yeah, and some things you think this is going to work first time, and then you put it in VR and you go cross-eyed, and you're like, that's not right. So being able to get that quick feedback and quick interaction with getting things in the game world is really important.
Yeah, so I think Dreams is trying to really shortcut just even the non-VR version of that. Just the regular game iteration loop, but it's sort of VR accentuates it because it's. You have the headset in the loop taking it on and off, and also it's just so hard to predict, at least. So yeah, the exciting thing for me is can we once we have this in VR, is it going to make it a lot easier to make, essentially iterative content in VR and see what's what is the cool kind of level, what's the cool character design. Oh, it's the springs, nice one.
A difficult day.
Yeah.
Pretty difficult.
So it's a spring, right, that goes into one of those. But that piece,
This is like something else. So this end of the foot goes longer.
Yeah, so there's like the shock as
so
well.
It goes like, this is the spring.
Ah, okay,
and that's this is where like engineering helps.
Yeah.
I understand this construction.
It goes here. Maybe this reads as a spring.
I think that the spring is good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I go to the foot.
The foot, yeah.
The foot is more like this kind of, like you said, this running.
Yeah, like the blades. It's kind of like a ski.
So it would jump a bit when it.
So you're saying about people puppeteering their creations. Is the idea that people will be able to save out films and kind of performances, narratives.
Yep. That's we imagine that there's lots of different stuff that you'll be able to make inside Dreams. The obvious one is of course being games, but you'll also be able to just make full-length movies and that kind of thing. And yeah, the puppeteering is a big part of it because unlike something like a traditional animating tool like Maya or whatever, the thing we're trying to nail is like it should be fun to watch somebody work, because that's what performance is all about. Like when you watch somebody perform on a guitar, they're working, but it's also fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's hard to watch like a video game documentary because you see people working like programming or animating, but it doesn't look like they're doing those things. It just looks like they're just twiddling knobs.
Well, I suppose here you almost have the Bob Ross effect.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Is how can we inject some Bob Ross into
massive curly afro and then
yeah.
be away.
Well, Kareem right there is our art director. We actually did a stream where we did a scene homage to Bob Ross in Dreams. Because it's cool. Like it's that feeling like is really interesting. That the idea that anybody can create and it's also fun to watch somebody create. Now that limits in a way what you do. So like highly precise, not even precise, like you can have precise decisions, but it's very hard to have precise like control over curves and stuff. It's never going to be fun to watch that.
No.
So, but nobody would say that, you know, a Jim Henson puppeteer is not precise. They're very precise with what they're doing, just not in the same way that Pixar animators are precise when they're tweaking stuff. So, you know, it's you choose which route you want to go down, and we think that the puppeteering is really, it's a good match for, you know, the console environment and also just people.
Well, I'm guessing it also gives you quite a lot of natural motion from the off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, what you get is people's style coming through, right? All of a sudden, like, you know, it's not a perfect animation, but it has a lot of. I think you're losing battery a bit.
No, that's okay.
But I think we're almost there.
Yeah.
We're almost ready to
Pretty
puppeteer this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it's really good.
So
that works pretty well.
The pilot is mostly the head, so it's
so
quite
like
so the head is just moving around.
It's getting a bit of whiplash.
Yeah. Oh, but his harness is part of the body.
Yeah. That would be a bit.
So yeah, the harness is not not exactly working out.
Close enough.
Nailed it. Yeah. So this is kind of our walk cycle editor. So because we have procedural animation, right, we have to. What?
Would be fun. He's like really stretching, maybe.
Is it just because you caught him mid stride or something?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Walking really funny.
Maybe he was just mid stride.
Huh?
Maybe he was just like mid walking when you tweaked it.
Ah.
I don't know. Is he when you come back out? Is it normal?
Oh,
maybe
I think maybe it might be like the floor that's positioned a bit weird.
But if you just move him to the right, just like grab a, yeah. No, I mean like when you back out and just use the move tool instead.
No.
Instead of the tweak tool, yeah. Yeah, maybe just leave him over to the right because he seems to really want to go there. I don't really.
I think it's because the floor.
Oh,
is
the
like
floor is
something
strange.
in the. No, the floor is.
Oh, you just take the floor away.
Yeah.
Is it just is it on a tilt? Is that what's happening?
It's because the origin is different from the origin of
well, you can tweak it in midair, right, and it still works. You can tweak from here, right, and it
yeah,
still
it
will
was
do
just
stuff.
if you wanted to see him like.
Yeah, just
walk.
just go for the just hit tweak on it.
Ah, okay, so it does.
Oh, it just does that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Dum.
But you can bring him into another level or something.
Yeah, we can probably go out.
You can bring him into the forest.
That's quite cool. I just noticed his little smiley face.
I
just noticed,
Like John. Do we have that?
Oh yeah, just grab one of those. Yeah, just grab that.
Nice.
And just load up. This is like the forest scene that we were demoing as one of our levels.
This one the bear was walking through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna put the mech in there.
Also, make have a nice relax, get it one with nature.
Yeah.
There it
Yeah.
is. My dream.
Oh, where'd he go? Oh, you gotta like zoom out. Zoom in a bit. There he is. He's looking at me like, get me out of
what
this
are you doing?
Gonna kill me.
Yeah, so I think we probably made him tilted or something.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you get the idea.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's really cool.
He just has to keep facing that way.
Okay,
there we go, yeah.
Come on.
Awesome.
There we go.
Yeah.
You get some really nice
like
secondary motion as well.
Yeah.
So you can possess him, no?
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, we
try
can
to
actually
walk
grab
around.
the DualShock and play with it.
Awesome.
Man. So I think we're like, I don't know, what would you say? 90% of the way to your game, like pretty much.
Yeah, maybe.
I have to be in play mode.
If you
Let me take a picture.
Play.
yeah, let him take a. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds like you can fly now.
Yeah, so now you could actually can use the controller to walk around with him and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can-
let's go.
And these two
just-
up here are like his arms, so if you want to wave to them.
Yeah. Then
Hi,
X is jump.
Mom.
He's off.
Just a bit more effort, and I think we'll. So the legs are stretchy because they were set to be like
Stretchy metal.
cope with the stretchy. Yeah.
It's nice how it softens all the edges.
Soft metal.
Is there a way to make them run? Or
Yeah.
did we turn that off for the? Oh, it's the walk speed.
Animation, yeah, bro.
It's the animation speed. Yeah, we have to crank up the speed if we wanted to.
That's pretty cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for showing me that. That's really cool.
Yeah, man. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Looking forward to trying out the game.
Yeah, no, we pop over to the booth. It's been really a mental day, but the reactions of everyone's been really awesome. So
That's cool, man.
it's quite a lot of hollering on, lots of trash talk. Everyone's
want from a
taken
good
the
sports
sports
game.
vibe to heart, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, you should pop over. Welcome anytime.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure,
Awesome.
man.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Take care.
You too.